Welcome to our deep dive for today. We are actually looking at a brand new press release that just dropped this morning, July 22,
Yeah,
2026.
literally just hours ago.
Right, exactly. And it's for a platform called Brain Sniper. Now, our mission today for you listening is to kind of figure out how this one solo developer is attempting to take, the silent, solitary act of human thought and just totally transform it into this roaring live spectator sport.
Which is, I mean, it's a massive pivot in how we usually think about brain game.
Oh, totally. Because if you're listening to this in your car right now, or maybe sitting at your desk, you might be thinking, I don't even like people watching over my shoulder when I'm typing an
Oh,
email.
I hate that.
Right, let alone having thousands of people watch me try to solve a logic puzzle live on the internet. Because thinking has historically been a very private act. You sit alone on a Sunday morning, you sip your coffee, you're silently hunched over a crossword
It's
puzzle.
kind of in your own world.
Exactly. But this platform is actively trying to shatter that quiet image. So, okay, let's unpack this because they are taking what used to be a solitary brain game and really injecting it with the high octane energy of a broadcast arena.
Yeah, and the documentation actually frames Brain Sniper not as a video game, but specifically as a browser-native, live cognitive competition and entertainment platform.
That is a mouthful.
It is, yeah. But those words, they indicate a really massive shift in how developers are starting to view mental agility.
How so?
Well, they're essentially isolating the invisible gears of the human mind turning, right? So specifically things like working memory, pattern recognition, processing speed,
Yeah.
and they're engineering a way to make that internal exertion totally visible to a live audience.
Wow, okay. I really want to visualize this for the listener because the press release mentions that these are 90-second cognitive battles.
Right, very fast.
Right. So how do you actually turn working memory into a 90-second gladiator match? I mean, I'm picturing like rapid fire sequence recall, flashing shapes, maybe split-second logical deductions where literally every millisecond counts.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate way to picture it.
Yeah.
You definitely aren't sitting there, stroking your chin and pondering a chess move for 10
Yeah,
minutes.
nobody has the attention span for that anymore.
Exactly. It's a full sprint mental execution. You can almost think of it like a sprint, where the actual hurdles are cognitive load spikes. Because the core gameplay loop, it really has to be fast to work as entertainment.
Right, to keep people watching.
Yeah. And at launch, they rolled out 3 distinct modes to capture those different competitive dynamics.
Okay, break those down for me.
So first you have Daily Sniper. That's kind of the baseline. It's a daily solo mission that just gives users a reason to log in, train, and, measure their own cognitive speed before they actually step into the public eye.
Kind of like warming up before the big game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have the Duel, which is just direct head-to-head combat. And finally, Stage Sniper, which is geared much more toward larger-scale broadcast performances. What's fascinating here is how the platform draws its fundamental design philosophy, not from traditional video games, but actually from the cadence of broadcast sports.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, like short rounds, high stakes, and instant resets.
Okay, I have to admit, I have some pretty strong pushback on this entire premise.
Okay, let's hear it.
I mean, I love the idea of testing cognitive agility, but can watching someone else do mental math or like pattern recognition actually be entertaining?
Right.
Because think about sports, right? When you watch basketball and a player hits a final second buzzer beater from half court to win the game, you literally leap off your couch.
Oh, for sure. It's totally visceral.
Exactly. It is visceral. You see the sweat, you see the physical distance the ball has to travel. How does Brain Sniper plan to pull off that same thrill when the quote unquote buzzer beater is just someone recalling a sequence of numbers on a computer screen?
Right.
It kind of feels like trying to make a spelling bee as thrilling as the NBA finals?
That's a really fair point.
Uh,
Because the physical exertion in a basketball game is obvious.
mm.
And honestly, that is a huge hurdle for any cognitive sport. But the way Brain Sniper attempts to solve this is actually through the architecture of the user interface.
The interface, like the buttons and the layout.
Yeah, exactly. You don't just watch the math problem itself, you watch the tension.
Oh, interesting.
Right, so you watch these 2 progress bars surging against this ticking 90-second countdown clock. You actually get to see a player stall in a really complex pattern while their opponent is just blazing forward.
Oh, I see.
And then, you can almost see the panic set in on the interface as they try to frantically recover. The platform's entire goal is to visualize the speed of thought.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So the UI essentially acts as the sweat on the brow.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
It communicates the struggle to the audience. But, to make that buzzer beater truly thrilling, you don't just need a scoreboard. You need the roaring crowd. You need an environment that really elevates that tension. And I'm looking at the platform's central hub right now, which they explicitly call the arena.
Yes, the arena.
And it doesn't look like an endless, chaotic Twitch feed. It's structured almost like a primetime television network.
It really is. The arena is built as a dual-mode hub, which is super smart because it separates the casual stuff from the highly competitive stuff.
How does that work?
Well, during the day, you have the arena showcase. And this is essentially programmed exhibition space.
Yeah, okay.
It's where creators, live streamers, and artists can host community-driven events, so it's much more curated and conversational.
A bit more laid back.
Exactly. But then the platform shifts gears into the live arena.
And that's the evening programming.
Yeah. This is the raw, real-time competition format where the stakes are suddenly elevated, players are actively battling, and the spectators are, they're actively reacting to the shifts in momentum.
Man, that structural shift is crucial. And to show how real this ecosystem already is, the press release highlights a major live arena appearance happening tomorrow, actually, July 23, 2026.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
It is. They are featuring Mad White Jamaican, who is a comedian and this massive digital creator. He's got an audience of over 760,000 followers across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
It's huge reach.
Massive reach. And he's doing this live appearance right before they launch the Centenary Pute Championship Series, which is their founding season, on Friday, July 24.
Right.
Which brings up a larger point for me. Why is a comedian doing a live cognitive battle?
Well, this raises an important question about the evolution of the creator economy in 2026.
Okay.
Because we are watching a pretty massive cultural shift here. We've kind of moved past static posts, we've moved past highly edited lifestyle vlogs, and honestly, even past casual live streaming.
Yeah, audiences want something different now.
They do. Audiences are craving raw vulnerability. And there's honestly nothing more vulnerable than letting hundreds of thousands of people watch you process information in real time.
Wow. Yeah, that is stressful.
Right. If you fail a cognitive test live, there is nowhere to hide. Creators are no longer just commodifying their physical lifestyle or their outfits. They are commodifying their intellect and their mental processing speed as a new form of entertainment.
It is the ultimate unfiltered content.
Absolutely.
And by establishing a founding season and a championship series right out of the gate, Brain Sniper is clearly signaling to the audience that these aren't just disposable internet games.
No, not at all.
They are building lore, They are telling spectators that a win on Friday, July 24, actually goes down in the history books.
And establishing stakes like that is really the only way a spectator sport survives long term.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out, orchestrating that narrative, syncing real-time cognitive battles with interactive live spectator reactions for an audience of potentially hundreds of thousands is an absolute logistical nightmare from a tech standpoint.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I hear live interactive broadcast arena, my brain immediately jumps to a massive Silicon Valley headquarters.
Right, like hundreds of people.
Exactly. I picture 100 engineers, millions in venture capital, and just huge server farms humming in the background to keep the lag down. But according to the source material today, Brain Sniper was built by a solo founder, Dr. Alicia Marie Fid.
Which is just wild to think about.
It is, and she built the entire platform from the ground up in exactly 72 consecutive days.
Yeah, to architect a multiplayer real-time competition hub in basically 2.5 months alone, it defies almost every conventional standard in modern tech development.
It really does.
It represents a staggering achievement of lean execution. And she pulled this off through highly strategic, very deliberate technical choices that just completely bypassed traditional development bottlenecks.
I really want to dig into that tech stack because it's fascinating. For starters, they bypassed traditional app stores entirely.
Yep, completely ignored them.
Brain Sniper was built as a browser-native progressive web app, or a PWA, and by doing this, she completely sidestepped Apple and Google.
Which is a huge advantage.
It is. There is no 30% cut of the revenue going to the app stores, and maybe more importantly, no waiting weeks for App Store approval on a simple bug fix.
Right.
For a solo founder, that level of agility is literally life or death for the product.
Oh, that agility is vital. But honestly, the primary benefit of a PWA is the absolute removal of friction for the user.
Friction, like getting people to actually play.
Yeah. Consider the current landscape. If a creator tells their audience to go download a new app to watch them compete, the audience has to open an app store. They have to search for the title.
Which is annoying.
Very annoying. Then they download a heavy file, wait for it to install, create an account, verify their email. You lose a massive percentage of your audience at every single one of those steps.
People just give up.
Exactly. But with a progressive web app, the platform just lives on the open web.
Which means, like, if Mad White Jamaican tells his 760,000 followers to come watch him in the arena tomorrow, he just drops a URL.
That's it. Just a link.
Wow. You just click the social link on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever, and your browser instantly renders the platform.
Boom.
You are literally inside the stadium in one click, and there's no storage space taken up on your device.
It's brilliant. And the second pillar of this technical architecture is the real-time Firebase synchronization.
Okay, stop right there.
Yeah.
Let's apply the ELI 5 rule to that. Explain it like I'm 5.
Ah.
Because real-time Firebase synchronization sounds like incredibly dense developer jargon.
It does, yeah.
What does that actually mean for, the spectators sitting on their couch watching a match?
Okay, so imagine an ultra-fast digital switchboard operator working behind the scenes.
Okay, tracking with you.
When a player makes a move, so say they recognize a pattern and lock in their answer, that data has to travel from their specific device up to a central database and then back out to the screens of thousands of spectators.
Right.
Traditionally, your browser would need to constantly refresh to see those updates, which, creates awful lag.
And lag ruins the excitement.
Exactly. But Firebase maintains a persistent connection.
Ah.
So the very moment the player's data changes in the central database, our digital switchboard operator instantly pushes that update to every single spectator's screen in milliseconds without anyone ever having to hit refresh.
Wow. So it creates this illusion that the spectator and the competitor are sitting in the exact same room looking at the exact same physical board.
Precisely. And that seamless syncing is what allows a spectator to, say, jump right into the action if they suddenly want to transition from watching to playing.
That is so cool. I mean, building for the open web and utilizing that real-time switchboard is just a brilliant way to build a direct pipeline to users without relying on a massive engineering team.
It is an incredibly elegant technical solution. However,
There's always a however.
always, frictionless entry introduces a really significant behavioral vulnerability.
What do you mean?
Well, if you make it incredibly easy for literally anyone on the internet to click a link and instantly drop into a high-stakes, fast-paced competitive environment, you remove the barriers that typically keep out bad actors.
Oh, the trolls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we all know what competitive gaming lobbies look like.
They're awful.
They are notoriously toxic, hostile, and just emotionally exhausting. Because if someone loses a 90-second match where their working memory was on full public display, the instinct for an anonymous internet crowd to be cruel is really high.
Unfortunately, yes.
So how does a solo founder operating at this kind of speed manage the culture of a platform so the trolls don't just immediately take over?
Well, Dr. Fett actually anticipated this sociological problem. There's a great quote from her in the release that addresses this directly. She said, quote, "People deserve a place where they can compete, watch, and belong without unnecessary hostility. I wanted to build an environment where the experience feels elevated, not chaotic."
Elevated, not chaotic.
Yes.
That is a very deliberate mission statement. But, I mean, you can't just tell the internet to be nice. It doesn't work.
No, it never works.
You have to actually build it into the code.
Right. You do it through behavioral architecture.
Okay.
So on July 15th, 2026, they launched an entirely separate component to the ecosystem, and it's called VLUR Li-IO-Yun, which is subtitled The Promenade.
The Promenade.
Yeah. And it's described in the documentation specifically as a luxury virtual hangout.
A luxury virtual hangout. I really want to unpack the psychology of that because calling it a luxury promenade is just very different from calling it like a global chat room.
Oh, intentionally so.
It sounds to me like they are applying the broken windows theory of user experience design.
How so?